Well, good morning, everybody. I have got the ultimate camera setup going today. I have the Action 5 mounted on the hood of my car, and I've got the Osmo Pocket 3 internally. You see there in the corner, you see me and Dottie in the corner there. We are going for a drive today to Beatty, Nevada, and it's an interesting little town in the desert. And we're going to see some pretty interesting stuff. I think you're going to enjoy the drive. I think you're going to enjoy what the desert looks like. Um, and it's going to be interesting. So it'll be my last little outing in Pahrump. As I said, it's Sunday. It's November 10th. And I'm going to be about 7:30 in the morning. I'm going to be on my way to quartzsite. So I've only got, after today, I've got 3 more days only in Pahrump. I'm pretty much, I've packed stuff away, so there's very little to do to prepare for the trip. All my outdoor furniture and stuff is already packed into the truck. Um, things are I've pre-secured a lot of things in the trailer. So this is going to be epic. So I'm really excited about using the Action 5 camera, which you see this amazing picture because it's not going through. Um, I can preview it on my what I have in front of me. It's got the Pocket 3 shooting in here. I've got off to the side. I have my iPhone, which is hooked up by Bluetooth to the Pocket to the excuse me the Action 5 camera, and so I can see exactly the picture as it's being recorded, and not going through a windshield. It's going to be a lot clearer. Now, am I nervous about having my expensive camera on the hood of the car attached by a suction cup? Hell yes. I've only done it one other time, and that was a really slow but bumpy sort of desert thing. I haven't tried it really at high speed, but it's in a protective case. Um, oh, here comes state trooper coming through. So I'm guessing he's probably going to an accident. And we got the green light here. So we're just heading straight on 160, straight out of town, until we get to Highway 95. And we're going to hang left, and that'll take us into Beatty. Beatty is a pretty interesting place. It's a mining town that has survived through several booms and busts. And one of the things I'm interested in seeing is there's a old casino there that's been closed for years that is under really interesting renovations. And they describe it as in the steampunk style. So you can see what they're doing on the outside of the building, which I'm going to show you. And it's pretty spectacular um, metal artistry. So we'll take a look at that. We won't get to go inside because they're building this thing out, and it's not open. But there's certainly enough interesting things to see on the outside of it. So um, we'll be looking forward to doing that. So back to the camera being outside on the suction's really, really strong. I can't see that it's going to be a problem, but if it does come off, of course I'll have to turn around and retrieve it, but I do have insurance on it through DJI for accidental damage. So I can get it replaced as long as I can retrieve it. If it happens like, you know, um, and I can't get it for some reason, like it flies off a cliff or something, I guess I'm out of luck. But I think I'm willing to take that chance. Wow, I didn't realize it, but I just drove by the fire department and I saw they have emergency vehicles sort of in storage outside. I counted three identical ambulances, probably none of which are active right now because the active one's going to be up um, where the firefighters and paramedics are. So that's at least four ambulances they have um, in Pahrump. And I'm wondering if, well, it can't be for all of Nye County because Nye County's too big. I mean, I think you can drive almost 4 hours and still be in Nye County. It's that huge. But so I think it's all Pahrump, but that tells you how busy Pahrump is. Um, he, so I'm trying to, I was the EMS chief in Bonner County, Idaho for about 4.5 years. And so that county was 2,000 square, um, 2,000 square miles, about 40 to 45,000 people. And so certainly if what we're looking at is just for Pahrump, it was significantly way more square mileage and way more people. Um, and I had county-owned ambulances, and I had volunteer organizations that um, contracted with us. So I'm gonna, in my head, I'm gonna count up the number of ambulances. One, two, three, four, five. I think that's everybody. I think that's five ambulances. Um, so that tells me that Pahrump is way busier than we were. And I believe it because I hear those sirens going off 24/7 going down 160 near Preferred RV Resort. Um, and don't get me wrong, it's it's not disturbing, like it doesn't wake me up or bother me during the day. I just my mind, because I was in that business, is tuned to it. I hear sirens, and it's not maybe the kind of background noise it might be for people that were never in emergency services. So one of the things we're going to keep an eye out for is uh, wild donkeys, burros. I think they mostly refer to them as, because it's certainly cool enough so they would have. This is around the time they come down from the mountains and they're around here. And there's lots of warning signs on this road about just being aware and careful because there's so many accidents between vehicles and burros. And the answer is when that happens, both the vehicle and the it's devastating for both the burro and the vehicle. They're big and heavy. The only experience I had hitting an animal is I barely hit a small deer um, in Idaho when I lived there, and it ran off. So I assumed it, and it didn't seem to be limping. It just bolted off into the woods, and there was no damage on my vehicle. So I think it was a lucky thing for both of us. Um, the, the the real devastation in Idaho was moose. Um, run into a moose and you are going to lose every time. They are just enormous. And I got a couple of moose stories. Um, I'm gonna I'm gonna try to find this picture and I'll put it up here when I tell the story. But there when I lived with my brother, and while I was living there, I was the EMS chief, and um, this has to do with my response vehicle, which I would take home with me. And one morning, um, I got up and started to go outside, and this is what I saw. I mean, that's a Chevy Tahoe with a light bar on the top, and like the back of that moose is higher than that. That's how big that moose was. Um, so I just didn't go any further. Went back in the house, called the office, and said, "I'm going to be late today." So I waited for them to go away before I got in my car and left. The other thing that happened was Dottie wasn't around yet. This is years ago. And sorry, Dottie, I'm telling a pre-Dottie story. Dottie's predecessor was a Springer Spaniel named Sadie. And Sadie lived with me in Idaho. And Sadie got hit by a skunk. And that was quite the 1 week ordeal before we were back to normal. Um, and a few weeks after that happened, it was at night in it just in the back of the home or front. I don't even know how you'd say it. I guess it's the back. My brother had a very large vegetable garden, vegetable and flowers, but mostly vegetables. And it was pitch black at night, and Sadie was outside, and I heard Sadie barking furiously, and I'm like, "Oh no, it's another skunk!" So I burst out the door, and I see Dottie's at the like, Dottie, sorry, Dottie, um, Sadie's at the edge of the garden barking at something in the garden, which I'm assuming is probably a skunk. So I go to grab her to pull her back, and I hear this crash. And out of the darkness in the garden comes a moose charging both of us. And if you can imagine, the back of the house had a deck with a set of wooden stairs that went down to the edge of the garden where we were standing at the foot of those stairs. And Sadie and I were like, climbing over each other to get up those stairs. I don't know who got there first, but the moose wasn't going to go up the stairs, so the moose stopped short, and luckily we did not die. And the third story I will tell you about moose is we had a family of moose that were just hanging out in the backyard there. And I'll tell you that that part of the backyard my brother had completely fenced off. And I'm going to guess the height of the fence was probably 7 feet. And I'm like, how the hell do they keep getting in here? Because the gate's always closed. How are they getting in? And I got my answer one day. It was during the day, and one of the bigger moose walks casually up to the fence and is standing right in front of the fence and just does a vertical leap over the 7 foot fence to the other side and saunters through the woods. So you understand what I was seeing. This was not a running and a run and then a leap. It was a standing leap, which gives you an idea of that moose was probably 1,500 pounds or something like that. It was enormous, and that's how they got in and out, and they just looked totally casual. Oh, daytime headlight section. That's, you know what? I usually do that anyway. That's a really good idea to have your headlights on. Um, because people can see you way easier when you have your headlights on. So here we're out of Pahrump. Did you notice how quick that was? We went from, Walmart and Home Depot and all that craziness to like desert wilderness. I'm kind of surprised I didn't see any burrows. We may see some in Beatty. Beatty's pretty known for having burrows. And I think we may be coming up on the alien rest stop up here that I was talking about. We're not going to spend a long time there. We're just going to go through the parking lot so you can say, I saw a legal brothel today. And it makes you wonder, is it the alien brothel because the patrons are aliens or the workers are? So the aliens theme thing is obviously because we're in distance wise, we're in close proximity to Area 51. I was just reminded of my friend Deborah Dickinson. Subscribe to Deborah Dickinson on YouTube, Frugal RV Gal, my friends. Deborah, if you don't already know, is a decades old friend of mine. Not that she's decades old, which she is, and so am I. But I've known her for decades. Known her long before we both got into this lifestyle. But she got into it first because she was one of these original. When you talk about sort of Bob Wells, cheap RV living, and that whole phenomenon, she would camp with him back in the beginning. Um, and yeah, this is it. This is up here on the right. Um, and so she had years and years of experience. And I reconnected with her to get advice, and she um, was my and continues to be my RV life, full-time RV life advisor. Uh, and she used to call her, she's always had like an RV park or something where she's gotten like as a home base, and she would call it, her term is her docking station, which I think is very clever. So here we are with the Alien 51, uh, Area 50, Area 51 um, Alien Center. But if you go over here and go behind the pumps here, guess what we have here? If we go to get, if we needed air in our tires, we would see the Alien Cat House Brothel. And this is it, this sort of pink and purple building. It's open and it's the real deal. It's a brothel. So I thought you would they have there's a sign up there that says alien sandwiches going back and forth. It's like the program may have a little bit of a problem with the below sea level elevations. Because now it's showing that we've gone up in elevation, but I can tell from the video we're from what I'm seeing on the road, we're still going downhill. But the elevation numbers are going in the opposite direction, which seems very odd. as I mentioned 240 something. Now it's showing 232, and we've been going downhill that whole time. Now it's at 230, and something doesn't make sense. I think I've pretty much made up my mind that I'm gonna include all the footage, put the switch to non-monetized, and argue that it's non-commercial because I'm not making money. Be interesting to see what you 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 folks out there that are kind of wired into what's going on with the regulations and the law think about that. There's a guy in a bicycle out here. Holy crap. I wouldn't do that. Death Valley on a bicycle? I bet plenty of people do, though. Definitely not in the summer. It's showing it's 77 degrees out there. Um, but if this were July, it could be 125. There's another guy on a bicycle, so there's more than one. There's like no shoulder at all. I mean, the shoulder is just treacherous desert terrain with stones and sand. Not very smooth at all. You can't ride a road bike on it. It would tear you up. And there's nothing resembling anything close to a bike lane. So I'm going to go back to the other screen on the Garmin because I've pretty much given up uh, on the figuring out what the elevations are. Definitely below sea level, I can tell you that, but not the lowest because we didn't go by. Let's see, Cow Creek Administrator Receiving Natural History, Caltrans, Furnace Creek, 3 miles. Because that is Badwater Basin, and it's the other side of Furnace Creek, I believe. That's where the low point is, but we won't be going there today. Furnace Creek is where the visitor center is, uh, kind of the center of the park. I am tempted to stop here and go in there and ask a ranger directly if I film and post it on social media where it's not monetized, is it a violation of the regulation, the filming regulation? They must get that question a lot, and I bet they have an answer. It's a RV in front of us, a Cruise America RV, which means it's a rental. I just saw an article that was kind of titled "Best Kept Secret for Buying a Used RV: Buy it from a rental place like Cruise America." And I've heard good things about that because they want it to last a long time because that's how they make their money. So they do very regular maintenance on them. So they're well taken care of. So I think I am going to go in there. And the only way I wouldn't ask is if there's a big line for the. Sometimes there's a big long line for the Rangers. I think this is the visitor center up here. Elevation on the sign says minus 190 at the visitor center.
Turn left on Death Valley Museum Road, then take the first left.
Looks pretty busy, so that it might be a long line, but we'll walk in and we'll see. I do have to take that camera off the hood.
Down the street.
And I went the wrong way, but I think I'm okay. So I'm gonna cut this off. So this was totally unexpected. I went in and with the express intent of asking if I don't monetize the video, am I still in violation of the filming? She said, no, you're fine. You can even monetize it. It's fine. So I said, are you sure on YouTube I can monetize it? She said, yes, absolutely. And here she is, this ranger right here at the information thing, Ranger Belgrand. And she was very nice, and they must have changed their policy because she was did not hesitate at all. Told me, go ahead, monetize it. It's fine. Pretty shocked. Right now it's about 1:29 p.m. on Sunday, the 10th of November, and we're going to go to Zabriskie Point, and I'm going to show you all that. But I need to hang out. Dottie and I need to hang out here for a while and continue to charge this bad boy. It's only at 48%. So let's get it up there so I can show you more of Death Valley. I'm so excited. So we can film in Death Valley. I'm sorry I haven't been talking, but look at these rock formations and everything. I mean, it's like remarkable. I'm a little speechless. Hey, there goes another Tesla pickup. You know that you hear a lot of like trash talking the Tesla pickups, and all the trash talking is coming from people that have never driven one, from what I see. Because I saw at least a couple of videos where people demonstrated its use like on and off road. It's pretty amazing. I mean, you can change your clearance when you go off road with a button. I mean, it's amazing. It really is. From that YouTube couple, Kate and Nara, they did one where they were given one for a weekend, and they put that thing through its paces, and it was impressive. And I'm sure it's only going to get better. Another mile and a half to Zabriskie Point.
In 1 mile, turn right on Zabriskie Point Road.
No, and it just dawned on me. I just saw a YouTuber, a big YouTuber, do a Death Valley video, and I remember wondering, I wonder why she's doing the video, and probably figured that she probably asked and got the same answer I did. Yes, you can do it, and you can do it monetized. Crazy. So it's up here on the right. I see the sign half a mile away. Wait till you see this view. Not you, Dottie. You don't need to see the view. You don't care. You only care about dog stuff. You don't.
Turn right on Zabriskie Point Road.
You don't seem to care about much people stuff, or Dottie doesn't care anything about the YouTube channel, do you? Not see, she doesn't care. She's like, "What's a YouTube? Can I eat it? Does it taste good?" And here we are at Zabriskie Point, and you can see.
Arriving at Death Valley National Park. Continue inside to Zabriskie Point.
And you can see we got a little bit of a hike up there, but that'll be fun. And we're going to have to take that camera off the front of the car, though. So you saw me drop this very expensive camera, didn't you? Well, thank God everything seems to be working well. Although I do have insurance on this one too, and I could have gotten it replaced, but that would have been a bummer. It would have been, I think you only get 3 of them, and I've already replaced it once. So anyway, let's go up there. I'm going to turn it off, and I'm going to turn it back on and do it with 4K instead of 1080p. Hang on. We're going to hike up to Zabriskie Point. I remember being here a couple of years ago, almost 2 years ago, when I was really having a lot of pain, and I was using a cane, and it was a real hardship to walk up here. And today I feel great, thanks to that chiropractor, Dr. Lewis in Pahrump, Nevada. Wait till you see this view. Actually, the preview here. Check that out. And we're not even near the top yet.
No time. Big more location is there.
Well, it's not painful to walk up here with my hip, but it's steep. I'll get a little out of breath. And I can't really use altitude as an excuse. There's the first view. Check out how steep that is.
Yeah.
And here we are at the top. Amazing. It's a very popular destination for international tourists. Or we could pick it up in the background, but quite a few different languages spoken amongst the crowd here. You look straight ahead, you can see some people way down there sitting on top of that rock. And there's the parking lot where Dottie is. I can't tell you how excited I am to be able to share this with you and that they changed their policy. And I get to do Death Valley here. And if I had more time, I would I'd come back again and do a more thorough video tour because there's so much to see here. But I'm going back to quartzsite, but I'll be back in the spring in March. It'll be a good time to come out here, and we'll do a exclusive Death Valley video for you. I got to tell you, it's a lot easier going down than it was going up. I hear a dog barking, but it's definitely not Dottie. So it seems like, and you know, I knew this, that each park had some discretion. And when I checked, they were exercising no lenient discretion for YouTubers, but now they are. So I think it's probably up to the general manager of the individual parks. Yeah, I was over the moon when she said, when I asked her if I could do non-monetized, and she said, sure, and you can even do monetized, all you want. Like, what? I had to ask her to repeat it like twice.
Dobbiamo vedere un po' i longobardi che c'erano prima.
I don't think I've heard any English. So it's kind of neat that there's so many international people here. There's a little dog. An excited dog. Ah, such a beautiful day, too. And I get to go home a different way. So you'll see a lot of different countryside as we go back to Pahrump from here. I think you'll enjoy that. Okay. And I will turn around here and I will show you the opera house. Pretty neat. It's right behind us. And there it is right there. Check it out.
Turn right on HRC.
I know, I see it. State Line Road. And there's the opera house. And I'll put a link in there if you're interested in the history. There's certainly a link I'll be able to find that can tell you I think they have a website, and I will put that website in there. And this is just a little interesting thing. This building out here that has these fancy costumes displayed in there. Check this out. Look at this building. Isn't that interesting? There must be opera costumes. You can't go in there or anything, but you can look through the window at them.
Turn right on State Line Road.
Okay. So we got about another 30 minutes to go. and to Pahrump, and I think maybe the battery will last just long enough. So I've sped up the footage all the way back to Pahrump by 10 times, because otherwise this would be like a 2-hour video. But I wanted you to see what the desert looks like between the two places with this little music in the background, and I hope you enjoy it. When we get to the end here, I'm gonna do a little closing, um, sitting in the trailer. Well, hey guys, this is the end of the video, and I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was it's a little rough cut because I started out, I had 4 hours of video here that I cut down to a little less than an hour, about 54 minutes. I was really excited about getting permission to go ahead and do the filming in the national park, and and also on the way back showing you the opera house that's in the middle of nowhere, and that little fashion building with the clothing in it. I just think it's very interesting. Anyway, if you watched this whole thing, thank you so much. I really appreciate, and I'm grateful for you watching my videos. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one.